You know how much I love my Skill Mag 77 circular saw. It's a skill saw. Well, here's what I don't love about this thing. Over 10,000 people per year make emergency room visits because one of these things reached out and got a hold of them. Let me show you the 7 mistakes people make that can be fatal, starting with blocking up the guard. A lot of guys just grab a block of wood and make a wedge. Seems harmless. You got to do it so the guard doesn't hang up on your work. Now that'll hold it. Or you can take your carpenter pencil and put in there. Or, if you don't mind a little iron right next to a spinning blade, you can put a 16-penny nail in there sometimes. Well, not that one. Doesn't matter. The positive connection, if you can call it positive, is that. Here's the problem. You forget about it. Even if you're a pro, nobody is more pro than Will Holliday was, and he will tell you that this will bite you too, although sometimes, maybe lots of times, you just got to do it. Milt Blomberg, he and I were working together back in Wyoming 35 years ago, and he ran a skill saw blocked up like this right into the front of his leg. You can hear that story in some of my other videos. But the upshot of that is, if you decide to block that guard up, not only are you taking your life in your hands, but quite possibly the lives and the health and safety of the people around you. Be careful about that. The next mistake that people make, which actually could be the first mistake, is you got to keep a hold of this like you've got the head of a poisonous snake and you're trying to keep him from getting on you. You squeeze it as hard as you can all the time. As soon as you, including those of us who do it for a living, get so relaxed that our only grip is on the trigger, that's the time that a kickback can come back because you don't have a hold of it. Look at this little clip in this video. Now, so far, so good. Unless I make the mistake of putting my body behind the saw, maybe I get the idea that I should hold this board down like that and pull the trigger. No, thank you. You stay back. That is almost as fraught as holding work down with your knee and cutting away. It gets back to the previous point that anything's okay if you're holding on to this thing, remembering it really wants to kill you. So the next thing is eye protection and ear protection for 2 particular materials. If you use a skill saw to cut sheet metal, you've got to have ear protection. It's just terribly loud. And you've got to have full face eye protection. Now, is this life-threatening? No, unless you get a shard of metal in your eye that freaks you out so bad that you lose your grip or loosen your grip or flinch with a spinning skill saw blade in your hand and it comes back. So the combination of events can collaborate to, number 1, damage your hearing, number 2, rob you of your eyesight, and if all the stars line up just wrong, you could cut your femoral artery or pieces of your hands or something. So for certain materials, laminate and sheet metal, you darn sure better have eye and ear protection. The position of your cut is really important. You've got to be able to let the end drop free. Now the temptation is, if you don't have sawhorses and you're out on a deck framing, that you want to cut over your instep. That's okay, but if you got to do that, get in the habit of cutting over the instep so the saw's outside of your body. You can see that that is safer, right? This is especially true if you've got a long piece of plate stock and you want to cut over your knee. Boom. Can you see the hazard here? Look what you're in line with if that gets away from you, okay? I mean, you got to pick, between which is the thing you would least like to cut and the next thing you would least like to cut. and your femoral artery might be the thing you would least like to cut. So if you got to cut over your knee, it's long, it's heavy, do it outside of your body. Can you see that? The end drops free, and if things go bad, you're not going to the emergency room. And the last one to talk about is cutting out of position. Now, if you're a roof cutter, if you're a stacker, and you're up off the ground, you're always out of position. But there are some things you've got to think about. Maybe you're cutting sheet goods, and to reach across a 4-foot sheet or to rip the edge off on the end of a fascia board, you're hung out there a long ways. You're out of balance. We got a trick in our second skill saw pro tip video about cutting sheet goods on a bench. The other thing to think about is ladder work. Sometimes you've got to get up in the air a little bit and run a skill saw. Worse, you got to get up in the air a little bit and run a skill saw overhead. I mean, how many things could go wrong right here? Lots. And if any of them include a spinning blade getting in contact with this super thin envelope of bone and snot, which is pretty much what we are, right? We're little bags of juice. You're going to be one of the 10,000. So check out the videos that we've made about skill saws. We've made a few because I love it. I think it's my favorite tool. I've done more work with a skill saw maybe than any other tool that I own. I've fed my family for a long time with one of these bad boys. I've used up, 6 or 7 or 8 of them. And so no matter what it is that brings you to the table with a skill saw, you've got to remember, it wants to eat your lunch. And you may not be able to get to the emergency room quite fast enough. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.